Okay, so Six Sigma in 60 seconds. So the way Six Sigma differs from Lean is Six Sigma is all around this idea of variation. And in order to make happy customers, in order to be profitable, in order to deliver quality services, we got to be able to reduce the amount of variation in our process so we have less defects. The term Six Sigma actually comes from the idea that you're only allowed 3.4 defects per 1 million opportunities. So to put that into perspective, think about a pizza delivery company. They promise to deliver it to you within 30 minutes. Only 3.4 times out of 1 million pizza deliveries are they able to be late. So this is what we're talking about Six Sigma, the idea of how do we control the variation, because our customers want dependable, repeatable processes. And as businesses, we want our processes to be dependable, repeatable, so that we can predict what's going to happen. If you think about, as we kind of go forward, what does a Six Sigma process look like? So every process has some form of defects and by defects, we mean things that don't go according to plan. As I said, the pizza delivery example might be one. Think about, the last time you got a delivery from Amazon or some e-commerce website. Think about the last time you bought a product and it didn't necessarily work. So all of these are what we potentially call defects. And the reason, if you think about what we call like a 3 Sigma process, a 3 Sigma process means there's basically more defects within the process, because you can see that bottom curve there. It's a little bit more spread out and there's more risks of elements becoming part of the defects. If you go to 4 Sigma, that process kind of curve that you can see there becomes a little narrower, a little bit more predictable. Once again, there's an element of risk because certain items will become defects. And then when you get to the 6 Sigma, you can predict much better now how that process is going to behave. It's much tighter. So therefore, you're going to have less defects. So think about you're waiting for a bus. So you're at the bus stop and you've got a bus company producing, picking people up at 3 Sigma. This could be Southwest Trains in the UK, for example. Sometimes it's early, sometimes it's late, but it's kind of within the space of 5 to 10 minutes, the train's going to turn up. If you go to 4 Sigma, then maybe you're starting to kind of go towards some of the other European countries outside the UK, for example. And now instead of having, a window of about 10 minutes, you're down to a window of, say, 5 minutes. So it's much more predictable how that train service is going to happen. And then when you get to 6 Sigma, you're going to end up in like the Japans, the Singapores of this world, where within the space of about 30 seconds, the train will come and the train will go every single time like clockwork. So this is what we mean. And as a customer, which one would you prefer? This is the question. Which one would you prefer? And just one more kind of area of this to put it in perspective, just to kind of get your thoughts going, is that if you think about certain businesses that you work within, not everybody needs to be Six Sigma. And this slide here really just kind of gives you an idea. So let's think about restaurant bills where 70,000, 80,000 of the time they're going to get them wrong. So this would give us the idea of around 2.4, 2.5 Sigma. So 2.5 Sigma in a restaurant is actually going to be okay. Hopefully you get most of them correct. If you don't, and you're undercharging some customers, it could be painful to your business. But obviously it gives us an idea that no one's going to die if a restaurant bill is incorrect. Think about your doctor prescription writing and how many times, the pharmacy has to phone up the doctor to clarify what it actually means. Think about payroll processing. So this is generally around the 2.5 to 3 Sigma. Wire transfers. Then go to airline baggage handling. So this is generally around the 3 Sigma. So if you think about the 3 Sigma, that means about 5% of all baggages can potentially get lost. And this is generally speaking about right for most companies. And even airline baggage companies, the fact is 5%, it's less than that today. I think it's about 2%. But it gives you an idea of what we're talking about from a Sigma perspective. An average company kind of falls within the 3, whereas the best-in-class companies tend to fall, within the 5.5 to 6. And this is what they're aiming for, the 6. But when you think about, flight fatality rates within the US or within any country, If you're jumping on a plane and you've got, 3.4 chances out of a million to die, to be, for it to be fatal, that might not actually entice you to actually go flying. Think how many millions of people are flying on a daily basis. Think how many deaths that would account for. Think about going for a hospital, an operation, and the chances of dying due to some infection, due to poor sterilization of equipment, for example. All these things, do you know what? Six Sigma actually needs to be a little bit better. So this is where it's not always about achieving Six Sigma. What it is, and this is what we do a lot of, is looking at how do we baseline our performance today, so then we can find out how we can drive changes and improvements to be better tomorrow. And this is where the ideas of Six Sigma and using that methodology calculation actually becomes incredibly helpful in helping us baseline where we are today and then slowly measuring at how we're getting and how we're improving. It also allows companies to compare themselves together as well. Now, sometimes the calculations are a little bit different, but it does kind of give you an idea of where you are within that journey and how you can potentially baseline yourself against other companies that are maybe in completely different sectors and fields as yourself. So this is just a quick introduction, a couple of slides on the ideas behind Six Sigma. As I said, we go into a lot more detail in the other training courses, but this is when you hear somebody talking about Six Sigma, at least you have an idea now of where that comes from. If you have any questions, you want any more information, please just use the discussion box on the top right as well.